The Phantom Tax Network, it began with a spreadsheet, 47 lines of numbers that didn't add up. But to forensic accountant Daniel Kovac, they were a whisper from the shadows. For years, Transglobe Logistics, a European shipping giant, had reported minimal profits despite operating across 28 countries. But when journalists asked why the company paid less than zero, Transglobe's CEO, Victor de Hart, simply smiled. "We comply fully with every jurisdiction. We are efficient, not evasive." The truth surfaced when Transglobe applied for a trade expansion license in Singapore. That triggered an intergovernmental review, and the case landed on the desk of the International Financial Forensics Bureau, IFFB. Lead investigator Daniel Kovac and his small team of analysts began with one question. How can a company that ships half of Europe's freight be losing money every year? Kovac's first breakthrough came from a minor detail. Every Transglobe subsidiary used identical invoice templates, even those supposedly based in different countries. Buried in Transglobe's consolidated ledgers was a recurring journal entry code, intercompany optimization. That code appeared 312 times in one quarter alone. When forensic data analysts decrypted the code's hidden metadata, it linked directly to encrypted internal files labeled Pax Log Master. The Phantom Tax Network, and payment was crafted to drain taxable profit before any government could touch it. The investigation reached a turning point when an anonymous source contacted the IFFB, codenamed Mariner. Mariner's first message read, "You'll never find the money. It doesn't exist. It's been digitized and moved. You'll need to look at the Mirror Company." While tracing Mirror transactions, the team uncovered a nearly identical entity, TGL Maritime Holdings, registered in Cyprus. It had the same directors, the same logo, but was legally distinct. Every payment Transglobe declared as losses appeared as income on TGL Maritime statements. The two companies were feeding off each other, a closed circuit of artificial accounting designed to vanish profits in plain sight. The scheme used digital freight reallocation, falsifying shipping routes to move virtual cargo across countries that didn't exist on any map. Billions were circulating in an invisible economy only a handful of insiders controlled. Kovac's team requested Transglobe's accounting servers under international subpoena. But by the time they arrived, the servers had been wiped. What the company didn't know was that the IFFB's cyber unit had already cloned their cloud backups 3 weeks earlier. Inside, investigators found an encrypted folder labeled Project Helios. Breaking its encryption took 9 days. When it finally opened, it revealed a blockchain-based tax avoidance system, a private ledger network that allowed executives to move funds between tax havens without traditional bank transfers. They weren't just hiding money, they'd created a parallel economy. The exposure hit the markets like an earthquake. When the IFFB released its interim findings, Transglobe's stock plummeted 62% overnight. Victor de Hart, the elusive CEO, fled the country, but was arrested days later in Monaco aboard his private yacht. Forensic audits showed that over $7 billion in taxable profits had been concealed over a decade through layered shell companies and digital assets. The Phantom Tax Network became the largest coordinated tax fraud ever uncovered by the IFFB. In court, Kovac's presentation was projected onto a 60-foot screen, a glowing world map with pulsating lines tracing each financial transfer. Every line connected to a decision, a lie, a signature. When asked why he orchestrated such a system, de Hart replied coldly, "Because taxes are for those without imagination." The courtroom fell silent. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison. and TransGlobe was dissolved under international order. Nations began reviewing their offshore laws, realizing that one company's phantom profits had cost them billions in lost revenue. Months later, Daniel Kovac received a small package at his office. Inside was a USB drive and a note. The mirror still has a reflection, Mariner. The drive contained transaction logs pointing to a new company, TGL Renewables, based in Singapore. Same directors, same code, Z99. As the camera pans out, Kovac's voice closes the documentary. Fraud never disappears. It reincarnates, smarter, cleaner, harder to trace. But numbers always remember.